on the brackets that are going to be used for my long arm lift kit. Since I have a plasma cutter, I do not have a CNC, so I got to cut all this by hand. I cut some vinyl out on my vinyl cutter, placed it on the 1/4 inch plate steel, spray painted it, got a good outline, and that's going to give me the outline to cut it with my prime weld Cut 60 plasma cutter. So I just finished up making the brackets for the long arm lift kit. I cut them out with my prime weld Cut 60. This is the 60 amp plasma cutter. And then I welded them together with my prime weld MTS 200. That is a MIG, TIG, and stick welder. Works absolutely phenomenal. Same thing with this plasma cutter. It got the job done. So here are the two brackets that are going to be used for my long arm lift kit. I designed these on Fusion 360, but since I don't have a CNC machine to hook up to that plasma cutter, I had to cut these out by hand. And for my first time ever making some sort of bracket like this, I think it came out really dang good. So that's what it's going to look like. It's going to hold the top and the lower control arm. These are going to get powder coated, but I still have to do, I also stitch welded on the inside. So boom, 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 boom. I also have to make a couple more supports on this. I won't be able to do that until I build the long arms, because I need to know how far this one rotates up and down and how far the top one rotates up and down, so I can go ahead and put a support above this right here, and then probably in the middle right here where it crosses over right there. But I just don't know. I don't want the control arm hitting it when the suspension flexes, so I can't do that just yet. So we got the two made. That is a huge, huge milestone for this build, because I've been waiting a long time to get this 1/4 inch. And now that I actually have the 1/4 inch, I can actually start fabbing up all the stuff that I need for this axle swap. So let me show you what it looked like on the truck. So here is this side. It doesn't matter which goes on which, because they're exactly the same. But this is the one that I had made for this side. But here is the one I just made. It's not going to be leveled out because I don't have the top two bolts in. But as you can see, I love that design. Cutting those triangles out and filing them down took a while. Didn't take a long time to cut them out, but to file them down probably took about an hour. And they don't look perfect. They look all right. I mean, it'd be better if I actually had a CNC to cut them out. But as you can see, that bottom one's going to go to the bottom part of the axle, and that top one's going to go to the top right there. That is a huge step towards this build, getting it done in the next 30 days. I actually really need to buy that round tubing and heim joint so I can build the control arms. So that way I will know where the axle is sitting in regards to the frame, so I can make my plate that's going to go across here, probably going to end up like right there, and then I can build a coilover tower that will weld to that plate, and that plate will get bolted in to the frame, and then we can set the coilovers down. And then I'll have to still cut all this out and re-weld a bunch of stuff in here to be able to accept the coilover to the axle. So it's a lot of work doing this. I am in over my head. Oh, one more thing I got to show you. But I'm pretty much in over my head doing this. I didn't really think that, I mean, it's not hard. It's just there's a ton of work, and a ton of design stuff that you have to go and think about doing. I wouldn't be able to do this project without Prime Weld sending out their plasma cutter, because that's been doing all the cutting. Cut that. I want to be cutting all that stuff off that axle. I cut the other bracket that was right here for the stock A-arms. I cut the bracket right here that held something for the steering. Something for the steering that I don't need. And I also cut the cross member in half. So I had to cut the cross member in half because on a 2-wheel drive, it's like 2 times bigger than ones on a 4-wheel drive. And you're gonna be hitting suspension components if it's not cut in half. So I cut that in half. I believe that's 1/8 inch plate right there. So I'm gonna plate that up, that cross member. But I use that plasma cutter to cut that cross member in half. It's a lot lower on the back side, but it shouldn't be a problem. I'm gonna smooth that out and it'll just be angled a little bit. But I wanted to keep that original bolt hole right there for the brake line, so I don't have to drill and retap any of the lines. But yeah, we are making some good progress. I am super excited how these turned out. I'll show you guys the design that I had. It took me about 10 hours. My first ever design I made on Fusion 360. Too bad I didn't have a CNC machine, but I think they came out really good. Once they get powder coated and everything's on, it should look pretty dang good. So it's been a few weeks since I last recorded, but I have made some progress on the 2nd gen for the axle swap. As you can see, I got the axle under there. I got the coilover mounted to the axle, and I got the coilover mounted to the frame with the brackets that I made. Originally for the axle, I planned on keeping everything except cutting out the middle part, welding a plate in, welding tabs that held the coilover. Well, I decided to completely gut the axle except for the spot where the old shock mounted. I was able to weld some spacers in there and the coilover fits perfectly. I don't have to do anything with that. So the coilover mount for the axle is already there, already made. I just have to re-weld in some mounts for the long arms and then also for the sway bar. I'm not sure if these are gonna work yet because I haven't test fitted it yet. Or I test fitted it, but not with the long arms. But here are the mounts that we are gonna use. If I need to remake them, I got metal, I'll remake them. And I'm not sure how I'm gonna do the sway bar yet because I haven't mounted the sway bar up right here. I don't know how long the sway bar links are gonna be. So we still have, hey puppy. This is one of Thor's babies right here. And unfortunately, a few weeks ago, Thor actually passed away. It sucks. You guys remember seeing him in my video, a couple of videos on the 1st gen. Thor was in it. But yeah, he ended up passing away. Kind of sucks. But that was one of his puppies. He has 5 puppies. Chase kept 4 of them. So we got some of his kin. But for the coilover towers, I made some and designed some. I started out with one design. I tack welded it on this plate. As you can see, I got a plate right here, and then the coilover tower mounts to that plate. So I'm able to remove it, powder coat it, and then I'll have a powder coated piece instead of welding it onto the frame, and then I got to spray paint it or whatever. But we have a coilover mount up here. It's working good. I still have to get some bolts for it. I just have a regular bolt in here to hold it in while it's just mocked up right now. I got all the holes drilled. I have 6 3/4 inch bolts for each side. That's $35 in hardware just for one side. So it's $70 in hardware for the fronts, not including what the control arms need. But we got the mounts. They fit good. I think they're gonna work. We got them all welded in. I still have to put one more brace along the backside, but we'll do that once I take everything off to clean it all up. So same thing with this side. Everything is all done, all mounted up. Still got to get bolts for this, but holes are drilled. And yeah, as far as the cross member, that is plated up, ready to go, ready to get painted. That has to be spray painted, unfortunately, because it is welded to the frame. But this is the original design that I had for the coilover towers. I was originally going to remake these because I put this hole in the wrong spot. But as you can see how much of a difference, how much bigger this one is here at the top. Is pretty much the same along here, and then it widens up right there. This design would have worked, but the coilover was hitting right here. So I ended up cutting it, made it look like that, and I was like, that is way too wimpy to have a coilover. So I redesigned it, made it a little bit bigger, and it works perfectly. And this side is ready to get that brace on the back side cleaned up and powder coated as well. Now, as far as the long arm, I will go over that in another video because I'm going a different route. These will work. Like I said, I made these. They look really dang good. You know, they'll work. But as far as my, I had to weld spacers in here because the width of the frame wasn't the same width as the heim joint, so I had to weld spacers in here, and I accidentally welded that bolt in there. But those will work, but I'm just going a different route as far as economical purchases. It was a lot cheaper for me to do something else than use my own stuff. So you guys will see that in another video. It hasn't came in yet, so that's we aren't going to be using the ones that I made, unfortunately, because I would like to say that, you know, I built this whole lift kit myself, but you guys will see in another video why I went a different route other than using those. We have made some pretty good progress since the last video on this truck. Coilover mounts, got to put a plate, probably 1/2 inch plate right there at the top to cover that in. I don't want to put it too much because I still need to be able to get a wrench in here, tighten it up and stuff like that. These shocks aren't filled yet with nitrogen, so I can still remove this and twist it whatever way. I'm not sure how I want to mount this reservoir yet. So let me know in the comments below what you think I should do with that. And as far as the truck, it's going to be big. It's going to be a lot bigger than I thought. I mean, it's sitting full droop right now, so it can still compress 7 inches. These are 14-inch coilovers, so I'm going to get about a 7-inch lift out of these coilovers. So these are fully extended, still has to compress 7 inches, but I don't even have a wheel on this, and I'm 6 foot. So it's going to be a lot bigger than I thought. But that's all right. I know I really haven't shown any work get done, just pretty much updates, but it takes a lot of work to try to design. There's been a lot of trial and error for this thing, a lot of different ideas that I thought I was going to do, but I ended up not doing it. I originally wasn't going to do this, but ended up working with 2 spacers in there. So if you guys are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get this truck done in the next 30 days. I just hope the parts that I need come in for this truck so we can get this thing done by the end of the year. That's what I'm planning. I hope I get it done before the end of the year. It would be awesome if I can get it done. But it's really just waiting on parts, and Christmas time, everyone's ordering stuff, so stuff comes in really slow. But thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos on this Dippin Diesel channel, and we will see you in the next one. Dippin Diesel out.